Hello, and welcome to Real Person Reviews. I'm Sam, and I'm poorly lit and a real person. I'm going to talk to you today about Pokemon Trading Card Game Pocket for the phone. Um, Now, you might be thinking, shouldn't I turn my phone brightness down so that you can see me better with this? No. Um, if you want to hear more about just the basics of the Pokemon trading card game, I am going to have the review up. I don't have it up yet as I'm recording this, but I plan to have that up before this. You can check out my review of the Game Boy Color game, um, and that'll give you more of the basics of how to play the general game, so that I can you get a better idea of how this changes some of that where necessary to say. Um, and I also don't really do mobile games that much anymore, but I really wanted to do this one because I was just checking it out and it ended up being something kind of special. So maybe it'll be kind of special for you too. So, Pokemon Trading Card Game Pocket. Uh, Usually shortened to Pokemon TCG Pocket, I guess. This game essentially is trying to make a mobile version out of the tabletop game of the same name, and it is based off of the same general rules and ideas of that. When you start playing, you will start mainly by opening up, packages of cards. These digital virtual card packs. You'll randomly get 5 cards in a pack, and then you'll add them to your collection. And you can get open up so many of them, and you can get these pack hourglasses to open up more of them. Helps speed up the time, because otherwise you can open up one every 12 hours to a cap of 2 packs a day. These are used to speed it up. You also can speed it up with Poke Gold. We'll get more into some of that stuff as we're going. I'll do my best here. A lot of things intertwine here. So you got a bunch of these cards and things. And try to get enough to start, collecting them and building decks and what have you. And there are also these wonder picks you can do, where you can see packs that other people have opened, and you can select, use your wonder points or whatever to open those up. Basically, you can see what 5 cards are on display that they got from their pack of people that have recently opened packs, and you can pick randomly. You'll get one of them out of there, so you have a chance to get something maybe you don't have, or something you want another of, something like that. Also, you get these stopwatch things for those. So if something is was a while ago, it's technically expired, but you can use those clocks to still open it up if you have the stamina to do it. You can also use the different kind of hourglasses for the wonder picks to try and reduce the amount of time to regenerate more of that energy to open that up. So again, as freemium, free-to-play mobile game thing is going to do, it's going to make you wait for stuff, or you can pay real money to boost things as well. You have those options. Like Pokegold can be used for both of those things, speeding those up as well. On top of that, there's also Pokegold can be used in the shop area. You get some Pokegold for free for leveling up, doing things like doing battles and collecting cards and whatnot will net you Poke Gold, and I was grant you XP, which will level you up eventually, and then you'll get Poke Gold, and usually some more hourglasses to open more packs as well when you do that. So the shop has things like mostly cosmetic things, but there are some hourglasses there for shop tickets you can use. These are the free currency. There's free Pokegold you get that can get you certain things. There's also some premium Pokegold. It's like paid Pokegold, basically. There's also a premium pass you can pay money to open an extra pack a day and get access to some other rewards and other missions as well, because there are missions in here as well. And that's where we get more into the actual meat and potatoes of this game, because it is not just a little art book of collecting a bunch of different cards. It's actually a whole deck building and battling game as well. There are a number of missions you can go through that'll kind of teach you how to play, and it'll teach you, how the game works and everything, and type advantages and all this stuff. And you'll get some rewards for doing those as well. Doing those, I guess to mention some of the actual gameplay stuff here, it's probably the best point to bring this up for doing that. While this does play pretty much like the actual game, there have been some changes. There are still Surprisingly, the rest of like coin flips and things like that, they still happen. But there have been a few changes here, particularly things like instead of having energies, you just have an energy zone, and the energy is generated every turn. You can set which kinds of energies can show up. If you have like a multi-type deck, you might have different kinds of energies show up, and at random, an energy will generate each turn. So you don't really know which kind if you have multiple different kinds of energies, for example. Your deck is also only made up of 20 cards here, probably because you don't need to put energies in there, I suppose. And that's why also a lot of cards that would normally, affect like doing things with like finding energies, doing different things with these energies, generally have been changed to more fit what you're doing here. In fact, I guess it's possible that all these are actually not directly cards that are actually in the real game. I don't know because I haven't kept up with it for many years. So it's possible that some of these are just, based on those, but I believe some of these are still like pretty much the actual cards. They might just be different because it's digitally or whatever, but I think most of these are based on the actual real cards. Just some of the effects have changed due to the differences in the game. Also, while there are strengths and weaknesses here, I believe in the original, you actually, something that was super effective against a Pokemon or whatever, it would actually do twice the damage. Here it just adds an extra 20 damage. And also there are no resistances. And on top of that, you only need to get 3 points for every battle. So, there's no variance in that. It's always just getting 3 points, knocking out a Pokemon is a point. The only difference here being that there are also EX cards, which I'm sure came into the real game at some point, but again, I'm only used to these older things where they don't exist. EX cards are a little different in that generally they are much more powerful versions of Pokemon. They usually have, higher HP or better moves or more moves or whatnot. They're usually pretty strong. But if they get knocked out, they count as 2 points. So there's a bit of a risk-reward thing going on there. Every deck that you make can only have 2 of any particular card as well. So EX cards do count as their own cards. You can have like 2 Pikachu and 2 Pikachu EX, for example. So that is another restriction on here too with your 20 card decks. And also, you will never be given a hand that is unusable. It will always generate a usable hand for your first turn, so there's no shuffling stuff back in here. The game is smart enough to be like, all right, well, we're not going to give you a hand you can't use because that's kind of a waste of time for us to reshuffle for you, so we just will cut out the middleman there. Yeah, I think that's most of the basic changes to the basic gameplay that I'm aware of off the top of my head. So yeah, there are weaknesses, no resistances. Yeah, we got all that. We hit all the stuff, I think. And the game also has features like you can battle, not only are there solo battles with those missions and whatnot, there are also some events and things that will go on as well, which sometimes include battles, sometimes include the Wonder Picks and those and so on. Sometimes there'll just be shop items and cosmetic things that are there for a limited time. Things like that will happen. Then there's the actual deck building. Of course, when you want to build a deck, you have to have enough cards to build one, but you can build a deck whatever way you want. There are also rental decks you can use. Usually if you get the highlighted card for a rental deck, they'll let you rent it for a lot of those. There are also some decks where, once you get all the cards that are in the deck, you can just use those pre-built decks, just make them. Because you only have so many uses of the rental decks. So you just have a little bit of leeway while you're kind of learning the ropes and starting off, while you're waiting to collect enough cards to build your own decks more effectively. Especially when there's so many different types and whatnot. Along with the main cards, too, there's also special cards and promo cards, and those are a little more rare. Especially those special cards, there's no way to really track them super easily. A lot of Pokemon sometimes have 2 or 3 special variants of them as well. But also part of this too is that when you're looking for cards, while you can't really get special cards easily, they're just very rare. You have to just basically get those through your pack opening or Wonder Picks. All of the basic cards in the set. There's regular cards. You can buy those with pack points. You get pack points for opening packs I believe you get 5 points just for every pack you open. And so they'll cost you a certain number of pack points for each Pokemon you want to get. Usually, you know, basic Pokemon are pretty cheap. Stage 1 are kind of expensive. Stage 2 are more expensive. Then things like EX and trainers and stuff, like they might go up higher and higher. So, you know, you have some ability to kind of get that stuff through just enough playing and enough time, even if luck isn't quite on your side. There's also some online aspect of it as well. Right now, it's a little limited. There actually is no trading at the moment, but what there is battles. You can randomly battle people online and take on their decks. You can get experience for winning those battles. Also, a lot of times for doing battles, someone will say thanks at the end for doing the battle, and sometimes you get shop tickets for that, sometimes you don't. You can go to the community showcase areas and like people's little showcases. You can make binders of showing off a bunch of cards or decks or whatever you want them to be, or just highlight certain cards in there, and you can like people's showcase items, and that'll give them shop tickets if you like them. You get tickets if they like yours. You can add friends, so you can do like private matches against your friends to test out decks and strategies, as well as being able to really quickly and easily like your friends' showcase items as well. So there's that. That's most of what there is, I think, to say about this game. I guess what I really like about this too is a number of things. I really like the streamlined approach. It doesn't take that long to do battles now because there's only 3 points every battle. There's only 20 cards in your deck, so the way you build your deck is definitely very different than the actual game. But it gives you, especially with the 2 Pokemon cap rule, it also means you can't just like throw all of one thing in there and like just make that your whole deck. I think that's like, I like that there's no energies to, you know, try to bloat it, and you can't just do a bunch of the same thing in there. That's kind of cool. And it makes it a little more interesting to build decks. It's also expedited by, like I say, like generating energies. You don't have to worry about energy cards. It's expedited by like, you know, resistances for anything, but still having, you know, weaknesses to some extent. Also, when you're doing online battles, like turns have a timer, the overall match has a timer. They really want you to keep doing this and playing and finishing. They don't want to drag stuff out or anything. So that's pretty cool. Being able to play online with other people and just check out other people's decks and things is also a really cool feature. And being able to play with your friends online through there is a cool feature. I like those things. And generally, I'm really impressed also, like, because when I jumped into this, I really thought this was going to be like, hey, open up cards and collect them, and that's it. And I was like, that sounds dumb. So the fact that they have both the deck building and the battling in here is great. Love that. Very, very happy about that. Having the solo missions is cool. Some of those missions get pretty tough, but I managed to beat all the solo missions at this point. I'm just trying to get the last few cards in the decks for the current thing. It's 2024 right now. All I have is Genetic Apex, and I'm like 10 cards away from having all of the regular cards in the set. So that gives you an idea of I'm playing a decent amount since pretty much since it came out. I've been pretty into it, and it's been pretty fun and pretty addictive. Gives you enough to do when you log on to do some stuff, and doesn't feel like you're super punished for not playing for a little while because, oh, you know, I missed a couple pack openings, but that's okay. I can do it again. I guess fine. For the downsides here, I will say that, I mean, it is a bit of a bummer that, you know, I realize it's fine if you don't pay money, but it does feel like some of the stuff, like if you pay money, you'd probably be a bit further ahead to get more stuff. Some of the cosmetic things would be nice, but at least they're mostly cosmetic things you're missing. I think that it does need trading. I believe that it's coming. They have like trading is like out there as a grayed out option. It's like coming soon or whatever, but like, you know, it's not there yet. And for the Pokemon trading card game, it'd be nice if that was already there. After this, another thing, I guess another aspect I didn't really bring up because I forget about it because I don't do it that much. There's a thing you can do where when you get duplicates of cards, you'll get Shine Dust. And basically Shine Dust is used along with sacrificing some of the duplicates of your cards in order to give your card flair. And that's just basically a special little animation that plays when you lay the card down, which you can see why I wouldn't really care about that. I have a shit zillion Shine Dust, and I have like not that many flares because like it's just like, is it worth it? And with trading coming down the line, I think that I'd rather just trade my cards away than to try to add flair to everything. It's probably better to do with stuff you actually care about. Also, it can be kind of rough because, especially early game, you are really dependent on getting good pulls out of the packs to be able to build decent decks. If you just don't have enough Pokemon of a certain type, it's going to be hard to complete some of these challenges. If you don't have certain Pokemon on you, it's going to be hard to complete some of those challenges. And if you run out of rental deck uses, you get bad luck. I think that while the balance is very good, I think that the luck of the draw still will determine a lot of what you're able to do until you're able to get lucky enough to get enough of the things to progress. Especially when you have certain types, like they need to add more Pokemon, obviously. They need to add more cards because there's like 3 dragon types in here. One of the achievement things, like they have these different achievement things, and one of the achievements, basically there's a set for like get so many of every type. Well, when there's only 3 dragon type cards in the whole thing, right? Like it's kind of hard to get that achievement up at all when your chances are so low of getting any of those, right? So that's like one thing. There's like barely any dragon types. There's not much for steel types either, and dark types are a little scant. So like it's gonna need to be expanded, and it probably will be. But right now, it's not necessarily the easiest thing, especially for certain types to kind of like to work. And yeah, you still need some luck. Luck is a big one. Luck is probably the bane of my existence in this game, and most people's existence in here. Where not only is it luck of what you're pulling out of your packs, it's luck of the coin toss. It's pretty suspect when I've seen a computer be able to get one of those things where it's like flip until you get tails and they get 14 heads in a row. I had that happen to me twice. Okay. Now, a human player has yet to do that to me. I have yet to do that well with coin flips. But computer players seem to be able to do it. I've done it twice now. Exactly 14 twice. It seems a little suspect, What is this? What are you, Final Fantasy with your 14 too? I don't think so, right? So like that's weird. I think that can be annoying. It can be annoying when you have multiple energy types because you have multiple type deck. And it just keeps giving you one energy type, or just won't give you the one energy of the type that you need. That can screw you over. Just getting bad luck of the draw in your deck, that can screw you over. There's so many things that it feels like it's so dependent on chance. So even as much as you can try and narrow that down, I realize there's only so much you can do, right? Too, like, 'cause there's only so much you can do to like get rid of that element of like this tabletop game thing as well. It's not a game of pure skill, but I do think that sometimes it does feel like wildly like, all right, like when you're mostly just relying, like I just need to get this a good roll on this thing, and if I don't, then I lose. When that's the difference between winning and losing, it does get to be kind of annoying for a lot of the battles and things. So definitely could use a little more. Maybe it'll get different when they add more cards. Maybe the dynamic will change there a bit more, but we'll see. Okay, so overall, what I'm trying to say is this game really surprised me. I think I already kind of said that, but yeah, I went into this thinking I'm just gonna open a few packs, be like, this is dumb, this is collecting virtual cards, I don't care, I'm out. And then it was like, wait, I can make decks and battle stuff, and I did, and it was fun. It's a fun game, and it's rather addictive to play, and uh, you know. Especially trying to figure out best ways to build decks to beat those solo missions. Some of those missions are damn brutal, but you can do them. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's definitely got a lot going for it. Being able to play with people online and stuff. I think there's a lot here, and there's room for a lot more once they get trading in here. And add more cards. I feel like this definitely has a future to it. But like I mentioned before, I don't really plan on playing, daily games all the time. I don't really like to do that much. I had a bunch of them for a while, and I kind of gave them up. And, I'm recording this in December of 2024. This is the state of the game right now, and I'm probably okay with just being done with this at the end of the year and being like, I don't need to play it anymore. I get it. It was fun. It was cool. I beat all the missions. I feel like I've done everything I really need to do in this game, and that's cool. That's nice. And as a bonus, if you guys want to ask me anything about, like, help with any of these challenges, I guess I'd be happy to try and help you out as best I can with what I did to muddle through some of those on those missions. But I'm going to be putting down my favorite deck that I made that I thought was really fun and interesting. I called it Dragon Dance. It's built around making basically using Dragonite. And if you're interested in that, it really only requires you to get, most of the cards actually are pretty easy to get. So it shouldn't be too hard to get. You can get all those with pack points. It's not too difficult. So if you're curious, I had a little write-up of that. That's in the description below. I believe I pasted it there. If you want to hear what cards you need, what you need to do for that, the strategies and whatnot, let me know what you think about that. And tell me, what do you think of this game? Do you prefer, do you like this as somebody who is a fan of the actual game? Or how do you think it stacks up against other versions of this game? Be curious to hear about that, especially I know there's like the TCG Live is a thing that's come out. I'm curious how this would stack up against something like that. And the old Pokemon trading card game and that kind of thing. And just, what are your favorite decks that you've made and used and why and whatnot? Like, I don't know. Share your stuff about this game because, it's been pretty fun and I do still want to nerd out about it a little bit here before I put it to bed. So, yeah. Hopefully that was somewhat interesting. Hopefully the footage looks okay because I'm sure I just did a screen capture on my phone and I have no idea how that's going to look mashed together with this, which is a rectangle going the other direction. Quick thing up front, I did record this review a little bit earlier this month in December of 2024, so I thought this would still be accurate by the end of the month. And I've almost got everything complete for all the cards in the Genetic Apex pack, but they've now just added a new pack. So I'm no longer that near completing it. All the new stuff in this update that just happened on, whatever today is the 17th. So the review is based on everything before that. Yeah, just want to throw that in there quick, just so you know that if I feels like, why aren't you talking about the other packs and whatever, it's because they weren't there yet, and I'm still done, so that's why. And I'll just throw this at the end, I guess, because that makes the most sense to me. Because I'm not going to play through another several months just to have it not make sense by the time I get there again. This is based on the 2024 game before December 17th of 2024. So don't yell at me in the comments, okay? You can see when the video was posted, alright? Just whatever. See? Look at the horrible exposure. And see, witness the I've got everything in the Genetic Apex deck. See, I did it. I did it. I mean, I didn't get all the special cards, but there's a lot of those. And I'm not made of money. And it's done, okay? Like, I don't care that I've opened some other packs and the other thing and whatever. I'm done. I swear. Don't look at me. Don't at me. Shut up.